I'm never sure on Facebook when I'm actually live, so I think I'm now live. Oh, I just wanted to start with some beautiful music to welcome you all and say hello to our, I don't know, I think it's the fourth video on the Thrive and Stress group. So I'm really happy you guys are here. And I have a lot of nice inspiring, exciting content to share with you guys today, all about habits. And how does this relate to stress and living your life's purpose? Many people, come to me asking, what do I need to do to live this life and do that and live my passion? And although you can start by thinking of the big things you can do, like leaving the job, changing countries, and switching things around fully, actually all it really takes is changing the small habits. Small habits can have a huge impact on who you are as a person, what you attract into your life, and the kind of life that you live, the kind of attitude that you show up in life with. It's all about the small habits, and that's why I believe that this is such an important topic for today. So I'll be sharing a bit on habits, how they're formed, what they are, and then some key tools and tips that you can use to integrate any positive habit into your life. How exciting! So come on in, grab a pen and paper. It's always good to have something where you can reflect on and put things down on a paper rather than just listening to me the whole time. All right, so just checking here, all is good. So let's start with, by the way, a lot of the information I'm basing is based on different modalities, but this book, Atomic Habits, is an amazing one that I highly recommend. It's a big one, but if you really want to dive deeper, it's a lot of the information is coming from there, and a bit of my hypnotherapy training, which works a lot on supporting people in shifting habits in their life. So, all right. Yeah. So let's start with something very important, which is when you want to create positive habits in your life or let go of habits that are not serving you, rather than starting to think of, this is my target, I want to start meditating, or I want to quit smoking, or I want to start going to the gym, or I want to lose weight, or I want to study daily or read daily for a topic that I'm interested in. Rather than thinking and consuming yourself so much with the target, I want you to take a moment and reflect on this question. Who is the person that you want to become? Who is it? Because when it's so clear to you who you want to become, the habits become easier to integrate. So some things you can write down. Who do I want to become? And when you are thinking of that question, think of this. How do you want to feel in 3 months, in 1 year? You can even divide it into short term, like a year's time, 6 months to 1 year, and long term, in 5 years' time. How do you want to feel day to day? How do you want to show up in the world? What kind of lifestyle do you want to have? What kind of work do you want to be doing? Right? Who do you want people to see you as? Who do you want to become as a person? What identity do you want to live by? Now that is so important. Why? Because I'll give an example of my personal journey and personal story. At some point in my life, 8-10 years ago, I was a totally different person, totally different identity. And nothing shameful or judgmental about that, but I was someone who was partying a few times a week, smoking, drinking, not eating healthy, and I didn't like the person that I was becoming. Now, I enjoyed the smoking. I enjoyed having a drink or two every once in a while. I enjoyed the parties. But I didn't like who I was becoming. I felt like I was attracting things into my life that were not serving me. I felt like I was living a lifestyle that was not uplifting me. So I did not think I want to quit smoking, quit drinking, stop partying, stop hanging out with certain people, start eating healthy. That was never my approach. My approach was, okay, I don't like who I'm becoming, so who do I want to become? And I knew that I wanted to become someone who's more balanced, who feels good in their body and energetic. I wanted to become someone who's serving others and working with communities. I loved working with people and I wanted to be able to do that. I knew that I loved yoga and I wanted to teach yoga, so I wanted to become a yoga teacher. At that point, I didn't know that I wanted to become a coach, but I knew that I wanted to be in service of others. At that time, it wasn't so clear how I would do that. That didn't matter. I wanted to become in service of others. And for me to be of service service to others, for me to be a yoga teacher, for me to feel strong and empowered in my body and mind, and for me to follow the passion that I really wanted to have in my life, I wanted to travel and hike and explore. There was no room for smoking, drinking, and partying and eating unhealthy and late nights. There was no room for that. So I started to embody that identity that I wanted. It was not in my life yet, but I started to embody it. I started to feel like, I'm a yoga teacher. I was not at that time, but I'm attracting becoming a yoga teacher. I'm working to become a yoga teacher. I'm working to become someone who's spiritual, mindful, lives a healthy and happy life. I'm working towards that. So every day I would show up as that. And so when someone would ask me for a cigarette, it would feel less attractive. I would do less of it. I would do less of the partying. I would do more of the yoga, more of the meditation, more of the traveling, more of the exploration. And slowly I became that person. Grateful and blessed. But I became that person because I lived habits and the lifestyle that attracted that identity, that made room for that identity. So this is why, first question, headline on your paper, who do I want to become? This could take time. You're welcome to reach out to me if you feel you need more support in that. But who do you want to become as a person? It could take a whole week for you to reflect on that. Go back and forth with a journal about it. Write a story of how do you foresee your life in an ideal state. It's a beautiful exercise. Now from there, you can start to write, maybe a habit that you feel would serve that person. So this is where you can start by saying, okay, what kind of habit would that person want to attract? Maybe you already know that there's something you want to work on, or there's something you want to invite in your life, or there's a habit that you want to, crowd out from your life. So you can start to identify that. And your next key action is, like always, we start with awareness. So this is a beautiful exercise, an awareness exercise, where you would take a moment to write down all your current habits today. And this can be from the most mundane, basic habit, like waking up and brushing my teeth, like showering every day in the morning, doing a meditation, having breakfast, driving to work, working, taking a break, having lunch in this time, whatever. All this flossing even, all of these small daily habits, the simplest one to the most, widest ones, the smallest to the biggest habits that are automatic, that you are doing every day. And once you have that list, it's a very good exercise because it allows you to become conscious of what you're attracting in your life. You take a look at this list and you will label each habit as either negative, positive, or neutral. And you can use the equal sign for that. So without any judgment or without any self-judgment toward yourself, we all have these habits that serve us and that don't. But just becoming aware, okay, out of these habits, which are the ones that are serving the identity of who I want to become, which are not serving the identity, and which are neutral, like brushing my teeth. It's serving, but it's more neutral, okay? So in this exercise, we're not looking to say, okay, now you need to remove all the negative habits. This is not at all. It's just becoming aware of, okay, same as I did, Okay, the smoking is not helping me eventually serve others. The partying 3 times a week is not giving me space to study the things that I love and wake up early. You see? So just looking at that and self-reflecting and just sitting with yourself in a moment of self-awareness. In a moment of, okay, this is serving me, this is not. All right. Okay, so these are the 2 first tasks. The identity, rather than thinking, what do I want to achieve? Who do I want to become? And number 2, the list of habits in your life and label them as positive, negative, or neutral towards who you want to become, just for the purpose of self-awareness. All right. Okay, very good. So, every habit has a loop that it goes through. You know, a habit technically is a behavior that becomes automatic because it has been repeated so many times, right? Like some things you do without even thinking, like brushing your teeth, like making the bed, like driving to work. There's certain habits that we just do automatically because our brain is like a computer. So there's an old programming that happens. Now, some of these habits like smoking it's just a behavior that became habitual because we've repeated it so many times and our mind became programmed. I'm stressed, I have the cigarette. Okay, it's associating that. So now our role is to reprogram this, okay? But first, before we reprogram this, what we want to understand is, so how is a habit formed? So the loop that any habit goes through, you have to remember, is the 3 R's. The first R is a reminder. Every habit has a reminder, a cue, something that says, "Tring, it's time to do this. Oh, it's time for that." There's always a cue, a reminder. For example, if it's smoking, usually a reminder is coffee. I'm having my coffee. Okay, there's a cigarette. Or it's break time. There's a cigarette. Or it's gossip time. There's a cigarette, right? There's always a reminder associated to every habit. Number 2, it's a routine. There's a routine. Every habit has within it a routine. For example, I wish I could think of another example than smoking now. Meditating. Okay, that's a good habit. So the routine in meditation, for example, is I wake up, the routine is I light a candle, I sit on the floor, I have my space, I take a moment, I dress in a certain way, I relax on the floor for a moment, I choose the meditation that I want to do, I put on the timer, and I start meditating. There's a whole routine to it, right? It doesn't just happen. No, there's something, even if it's just as simple as a daily routine of taking my vitamins. You know, a routine could be, you know, walking to the kitchen, opening the jar, taking the vitamin, taking a moment to kind of, you know, appreciate that, okay, I've taken my vitamins for the day, yay. So there's a whole routine, even within the smallest habit, how it happens. And the third R is the reward. After every habit, and this is why it stays as a habit, there is a certain sense of reward. All right? So if I meditate, when I'm done, I feel good. When you smoke, you might think that you feel more relaxed, at least temporarily. You feel like, oh, or you feel like you're connecting with someone. That's a reward, right? After your vitamins, you feel like, okay, I'm taking care of my body. I feel good. So for any habit to form, these 3 R's have to exist. A reminder, a routine, and a reward. All right? This is very important for you to realize that if I want to build a new habit, these 3 things need to be available. And same if I want to remove a habit, I need to work around these 3. I need to find how to adjust these 3 and change them. All right, so by now, hopefully you have your identity, you have your habits, you have a habit that you want to work on, something you want to work towards, and you understand how your habits are formed. So let's start to talk about, 4 key, 4 key tools that can support you in building a new habit. All right. And the first one, and this I'm basing from this amazing book, is the first law is to make it obvious, right? So I'm going to take an example of meditation, right? Which is a big habit that many people want to invite into their life, and some people find it difficult because you're really doing something new. So making it obvious. Now already, since you have your list of habits, this should become easier. So what you want to do when you make it obvious is, how to make it obvious is to stack any new habit with an existing habit. So I'll give an example. You have your existing list of habits. If you want to start meditation, you're going to look at those habits and say, what is a good habit that I'm doing? Okay, I have breakfast every day at 8 a.m. Great. Now, how can I stack a new habit, for example, meditation, can be anything else, with an existing habit? Well, every day, before I have my breakfast, I'm going to meditate for 5 minutes. So now I associated a new habit with an existing one. So this becomes the reminder, right? Before breakfast, I meditate. No, I can't have breakfast yet. I need to meditate first. I love doing that with my husband. No. Let's have dinner in 10 minutes. I need to do my meditation first, right? So making sure that your habit is associated with something, it makes it easier. So this is a tool, a very good tool to kind of connect to, making it obvious, making it visible. What's another way to make it visible? SMART goals, right? I cannot make it obvious and visible if I just say, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to meditate starting tomorrow. Good start. But what? You have to make it clear and obvious. I'm going to meditate before breakfast for 5 minutes every day, except on Sunday. Just saying. Okay? So you have to write down your habit in a form that is smart, in a form which is, this habit is going to take place at this time, in this location, before or after this existing habit. So this is a statement that you can now use. You can even write it down on your paper with your new habit. How can you integrate it with an existing habit? When and where are you going to do it? All right. So this makes it obvious. Another way to make it obvious, and we're still in the first law of making a habit obvious, is to design your environment around it. So for example, I had difficulty in reminding myself in taking my pills, taking my vitamins every day. And I realized that it's because I have them hidden in a drawer. So rather removing those vitamins and putting them right next to my bed, where every day before I sleep, if I didn't take my vitamins, I look and they look at me back and I feel like, okay, I need to take my vitamins. So setting up your environment to make certain habits accessible. If it's meditation, I always have my mat open and ready for me to sit. My mat is never folded and hidden. I could just sit anytime. Okay? What's another example? If a new habit you want to do is go to the gym, then rather than hiding the shoes, the tennis shoes or the jogging shoes, your outfit, making those visible and ready before you sleep, putting them out, placing them, making them available for you. Okay, so again, making the environment inviting you to do the habit. Don't hide it. Now, on the contrary, now I'm not going to talk too much about breaking old habits, but in a way, it makes sense. It's opposite to this. If I want to quit a habit, then what I need to do is make the environment unfavorable. If I don't want to smoke, then just hide the cigarettes rather than make them visible. I remember when I stopped smoking, I used to buy a pack of cigarettes, but I would hide it somewhere where I would feel like if I wanted to have a cigarette, I'll need to make it really hard for me to go get that cigarette. It's not that simple. It was in my car, hidden somewhere. So I needed to leave my house, go to the car, open the whatever you call that, that drawer thing, and take the cigarette and then go back. So it was like a whole process, and it would happen only in emergencies. So if you want to quit a cigarette, then rather than making the habit obvious and clear, I'm going to meditate at this time after I have my breakfast for this long, make it less obvious, make it hidden. All right. The second The second law is making it attractive, right? Making it attractive. So I'll give a very nice example on how to make it attractive. I'm gonna use meditation because it's a habit that I've gone through a whole process to build it. A very important one is to join a community. So you make it attractive. So I'm not meditating alone. I joined a 30-day challenge meditation with other people. We would come together every day to meditate. And if you don't show up, they will call you. So one way to make it attractive is to join someone, a body, a community. What's another way to make it attractive? Yeah, I love this one, is to pair it with something you actually want to do. So if, I know I need to start meditating, I'm not there yet in loving it, but I know that I love doing 5 minutes or 10 minutes yoga stretching in the morning. I love it. So what I could do is, after doing something that I need to do, I'll follow it with something that I want to do. So, okay, fine, I'll meditate and then I'll do my 10 minutes stretching. So it's almost like a reward, right? So associate it with something that you actually want to do. Make it attractive, make it exciting. If I want to go to the gym, sometimes I like to announce things. Guys, I'm going to the gym. Yes, I have a target. I'm doing that. Make it attractive. Join a community. After the gym, I'm not so excited about it, but you know what? I'm excited after the gym. I love having this shake from this amazing shop next to the gym. So you associated a habit that you need to do to something you want to do. Okay? A third one is make it easy. Now, this is really important because many people want to just go for perfection. I want to meditate every day for 30 minutes. Really? Start simple. Start as simple as 2 minutes. There's this 2 minutes rule. If you can do it for 2 minutes, it becomes easier and easier to build it up. So if it is meditation, start to meditate for 2 minutes only. If it is taking your vitamins, rather than saying I'm going to take vitamin D and B and this and that, just take one. Start with one. If it is, something like going to the gym, I'm just going to go for once a week for 10 minutes only. Or I'm just going to go to the gym and not work out. I'm just going to go see the space and leave. Make it easy. So the rule is progress and not perfection. There's no need for perfection. Actually, we call this the keystone habit. And the idea of keystone habit is it's really more important to have one habit that you're mastering over time rather than having 100 good habits and feeling so confused about, where to start, what to do, have so much to do, and then getting overwhelmed. So focusing on this one habit and making it so easy that you're surely going to succeed at it. And when I say so easy, you can start, your first week or two can be as simple as if you want to start, jogging on the treadmill, which is there in your living room, not used for a while. Start with as simple as, for the first week, I'm just going to stand on the treadmill. Make it so easy that you start to feel like, this is silly. Because when it starts to feel silly, you start to feel like, I just want to go for it now. So make it so easy, so silly. Personally, at one point I was able to meditate up to 30 minutes, even 1 hour a day. But then I went through a phase where my energy was so low and I wasn't even able to meditate. So I retrained myself to meditate and I restarted with 2 to 3 minutes a day. And now I'm building it back again. So another key thing is not to worry about the resistance. Resistance happens, but what's so important is to keep going, progress and not perfection, and always go back to the 2 minutes rule. Easy, simple is better than complicated. Yeah, another nice tip with making it easy is to allow the smallest choices that you need to make. So for instance, going to the gym, make it simple, as in rather than me saying, but what should I wear? Oh my God, I don't have the shoes. How am I gonna get there? What time? Like, no, like you don't want to have so many decisions around it. So I like to spend my weekend, my Sunday evening before the week starts. For you, it can be a different starting day, to just sit and say, what do I need this week to make sure my habits are successful? Okay, I want to pre-book my yoga sessions. I'm going to prepare already, some outfits that I'm gonna wear to yoga and make sure they're washed and clean and everything is ready. And this and that. So I make sure all the decisions are made ahead of time. It becomes easier and easier. And last but not least, make it satisfying. And this is the reward. Remember, so we said reminder, the routine. I'm making it easy. I'm making it obvious. I'm making it visible. I'm associating it to a time, to a location, to another habit, to something I want to do. All of that, the routine. And then last but not least, make it satisfying. Give yourself a reward. And when I say give yourself a reward, it could be as simple as, once you're done with the habit, sitting with yourself and saying, good job, you. Really, like just saying, I did it. Like, I showed up for myself today. And just training yourself every day to take a moment to say, good job, I did it. Appreciating that. Maybe even journaling about that, or before you sleep, just writing gratitude. I'm grateful that today I did this. Or today wasn't as good, but it's okay. Tomorrow is another day. I'm going to try again. So appreciating and rewarding yourself. Another way to make it satisfying is, to have, some people like to check things like done, 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 right? So you could have a habit tracker or like a calendar, or setting a reminder in your calendar and saying, ooh, I need to meditate. And then it feels good that, okay, done. Same as when you're done with a meeting, you send the minutes of meeting and it feels good. This is done. So doing something that allows you to feel like this is done. I'm done with it. Maybe taking a picture and posting it, or sharing it with a friend, or celebrating in some way. Or, having a board and again, checking every day that this is done. Making it satisfying. There's another, very simple tool that some people use is, you could have a jar filled with whether it's stones or pins or, small items, and then an empty jar next to it. And then every day, once you're done with that habit that you want to build, you just remove one of the pins from this jar and put it into this jar. Now it seems like, okay, so what's the reward? The reward is just the satisfaction of feeling done. I did it. I'm done with this habit. So just that act, reminds you of saying, I did it. I did it. I did it again. I did it again. So make it rewarding, and a reward can be very simple and it could be big. Maybe every once in a while you treat yourself to something because you're taking care of yourself. All right, guys. So a quick overview, right? Remember to start with, who do you want to become? And based on that, list all the habits that you have in your life and notice, are these what habits are serving you and what are not towards the person you want to become. Identify a habit that you want to integrate into your life, and remember, the loop of any habit is to have a reminder. There always needs to be something that reminds you that it's time to do it, a routine around it, and then a reward, a satisfaction. And to make sure that this happens in the easiest way possible, number one, make it easy. No, number one, make it obvious, right? Make it obvious, right? When are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? Before breakfast, after breakfast, where, what's the location? Make it obvious, make it clear, put it out. It's something you can see every day. I see the mat, I see the vitamins, I don't see the cigarettes, right? Number two, make it attractive. So again, you're stacking it with something that's motivating you, what you want to do with what you need to do. You join a community, you make it attractive. There's other people, there's a challenge. There's people with me on this, it's attractive. Number three, make it easy. The routine should be easy. I shouldn't have to think of 100 things. The sessions are pre-booked. The meditation is pre-picked. I already picked what I wanted to do. Everything is done for me already. It's easy. There's the path of least resistance. There's no resistance to get there. I choose the closest studio to practice. I choose the easiest place to go. Nothing complicated. 2 minutes only, right? I start simple, I start slow, I don't over complicate my habit. And number 4, reward yourself and make it satisfying, even with a tap on the back every single day. And remember, your habits today shape who you are tomorrow. So please invite the habits that allow you to become the best version of yourself. Ask yourself, what would the best version of yourself do? Sending you lots of love. I hope this served you today. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out. Ciao.